Hey guys, today I want to talk about one of the biggest problems that I had when I was active in my gambling, and that was that I had a really difficult time sleeping. Now, let me describe what my life was like at the time, and tell me if you found yourself in this exact situation. I would spend my entire day gambling. Now, the first thing I'd do when I woke up was check to see if the bets that I'd placed the night before had hit. If they hit, then I was excited for a minute, and then I had more ammo to fire off for the rest of the day. If it had lost, then I had to spend my entire day chasing to get it back. Now, this up and down roller coaster will play out a little bit differently on a daily basis, but the overwhelming theme was that no matter how much I won, I always needed to make another bet, and no matter how much I lost, I needed to make another bet to get it back. And this would go very, very late into the night. I was riding these huge emotional roller coasters where I was excited, then I was depressed, then I was anxious, then I was frustrated. I didn't quite know what to feel. Now, I would just continue to gamble until I got too tired to stay awake. And often this would take me really late into the night. I'm talking like 2, 3, 4 a.m. some nights before I went to sleep. And when this happens enough times, your schedule gets all out of whack because I'm still someone that needed 8 hours of sleep. And that could push me really late into the mid morning slash afternoon when I was in the worst of my gambling, staying up very late. And this is not good for school, work, relationships, friendships, or just general lifestyle, as I would constantly be waking up halfway through everyone else's day. But there was a reason that all of this was happening. It was that massive temptation from gambling, yes, but there were actually psychological and physiological reasons that I was continuing to gamble, and I wasn't even aware of them until after the fact. My name is Rob, and I'm a recovering compulsive gambler. I made my last bet on November the 12th of 2022, and since then, I've made it my personal mission to come online and talk about the fact that gambling addiction is real, and if you're struggling with a gambling problem, you can get help. If you're watching this video and you're not struggling with a problem, then I hope that you can learn something from my experience that'll help you to stay away from ever developing a gambling problem. Because not everyone will get addicted to gambling, but anyone can. So it's always good to be safe. If you're interested in living a happier and healthier life, smash that subscribe button because everything I talk about here on my account is aimed at helping you to live that happy life and to get into recovery for a gambling problem if you decide you need to or want to. Now, the reasons that it's difficult to sleep is because when you get excited, your body produces adrenaline. That adrenaline keeps you going. It gives you that fight or flight response, and you're constantly getting that hit over and over again. Now, what this is doing is actually waking your body up. Now, beyond giving you that boost of energy, adrenaline actually serves a purpose going back really far in our evolutionary process. It actually tells us that danger is present in our current situation. Now, when we were cavemen, I guess that meant that we could literally be attacked by a beast that's around us. Today, our stressful situations look a little bit different, but our brains still really haven't developed to account for that. So, when our brains get that hit of adrenaline, that rush, that thrill of excitement, whatever you want to call it, your body actually perceives danger. And that's why it becomes really difficult to settle yourself down. When you're perceiving that danger late into the night and you're feeling that rush of excitement, it's going to be really difficult to sleep because your brain is constantly on the move and staying alert just in case danger arises. So, the fact that I was gambling so late into the night really had a terrible impact on my body and my brain because it couldn't slow down. Even if I was to have stopped gambling a little bit earlier into the night, the thoughts of, man, I need to get money to pay the bookie or I need to get more money so I don't overdraft my bank account would cause stress that would produce additional adrenaline so that I was constantly fearful, on edge, and perceiving danger. Now, this idea of not being able to sleep because of gambling is something that a lot of people go through. It's one of these signs of a gambling problem that is really often overlooked. People think, man, I just have an active brain, or I had a long day, or I was looking at this screen too long. Maybe that's what kept me up. And you know what? Maybe it was that. But there's a pretty decent chance that if you're gambling late into the night, that up and down thrill is sticking with you and keeping you awake. That's why it's so hard to stop gambling. I mean, when you're so used to getting that rush and that thrill and excitement from everything, the fact that your day might not be that exciting is kind of off putting. What do we do now? What do we think about? What do normal people think about? What do normal people do without gambling? These were the thoughts that I was having when I first quit. But what I noticed really early on is that as I got time away from gambling, I started to sleep like a baby. I don't know if you've ever struggled with sleep, that you felt like you were sleeping in the wrong times or you weren't sleeping enough or the quality was poor, but it makes a massive difference on your mood, your health, and just overall quality of life when you get the rest that you need. People always harp on it. All these self-improvement people talk about how sleep is the most important thing because it gives you the foundation to build your day upon. But they're not lying. Like, it makes sense. It gets views because it's completely true. I was not valuing my sleep at all. I was valuing the dollar amount that I had left in my FanDuel or DraftKings account. And without it, I felt meaningless. Now, when you channel all of your meaning into gambling, of course, other negatives will arise. And this can be said about any addiction, right? An alcoholic staying up late to get that rush and thrill from having a party or a drink, that affects your sleep. That also affects your sleep because of the physiological aspects of being drunk. But the same goes for drugs. When you're getting the hit and your brain is constantly on the rise and fall, that changes your ability to slow down. So many people recommend turning off all electronics, turning off all the lights, using blue light glasses late into the night, reducing your access to stimulation. But why? It's because our brains have to cool off before we can sleep. And if we're consistently gambling late into the night, regardless of if you have a problem or not, that rush, that high and crash that inevitably follows it will keep your mind moving. I have a really, really active mind. And sometimes I feel like I can never settle down and get to sleep. And you know what? That still exists without the gambling. But it's so much better now that I've left it behind. And that's what I want for you if you're watching this video right now. I want you to be able to settle down at the end of the night and have quality sleep like you deserve. Because you're probably putting yourself through a really stressful situation for no reason. And you're probably not even aware that it's becoming a problem until you wake up the next day and you're tired. If you stop gambling, if you stop drinking, if you stop using drugs, especially late into the night, you will sleep better and you will feel better, which will lead to you making better decisions. And you see how it snowballs away from there. There's actually a pretty well documented relationship between addiction and disturbances in sleep. Insomnia is one of the effects of a gambling problem that really goes overlooked. People don't understand the value of sleep until they haven't had it. And so I wanted to tell you something that I do that gives me a higher quality of sleep that you can use in your own routine as well. At the end of the night, I have a pretty bad habit of scrolling on my phone. So that is currently what's giving me that boost of adrenaline up and down, whereas it used to be gambling. So what I've decided to do and what I've been doing lately is to turn my phone off an hour and a half before I go to sleep. Taking this and extrapolating it for gambling, you could stop using an hour and a half before you go to sleep if you're someone who's not trying to quit. And if you're someone who's trying to quit, then whatever it is that you are doing to distract yourself before you go to sleep, like I'm doing with my phone, is something that you can work on. After I turn the phone off for the hour and a half, I make the room completely dark. The idea of having any light is something that can keep you awake, something that can keep you on edge. And there might not be an immediate cure for running thoughts or a running mind, but if you're staying sober, if you're staying away from using, whether it be alcohol, drugs, or gambling, you may find that it's a little bit easier to slow the mind down. If not, here's a breathing exercise that I use to slow my mind down and settle my body down. I take this set of breath. It's called box breathing, and for the number of seconds that you use can be up to you. But I typically do a 4-second inhale, a 4-second hold, and a 6-second exhale. Then I cycle through. When you really focus on your breath, which is the same thing that you do with a meditation or mindfulness practice, you actually slow your body down, you slow your mind down, and you find one point of focus. You slowly become a little bit more tired, and then it becomes easier to fall asleep. Now, will box breathing help you if you were gambling 10 minutes before? I don't really think so. But if you're doing all the work throughout the day and setting yourself up for success at night, the box breathing technique might be that thing that gets you over the edge to a higher quality of sleep. Since I've left gambling behind and started sleeping well, so many things in my life have gotten better. I'm not stressed anymore. I can handle stressful situations better when they arise without letting it overwhelm me. I don't feel frustrated or irritable anymore. I have energy to partake in activities, go to the gym, doing yoga, going for runs and walks. I feel good. And I want that for you. You can absolutely live a happier and healthier life, but it all starts with the quality of sleep that you're getting. If you're constantly focusing on gambling and you can't get your mind to slow down, you're going to have a really difficult time adapting to every other part of your life, and every little challenge might feel like an impassable mountain. That isn't the case, but you have to set yourself up for success, and that all starts the night before. If you found this video informative or interesting in any way, please drop a like and share it with someone that you think would benefit from what we talked about today. I know that we can keep getting better together, and all of that happens one day at a time.